Alright, starting again.
I'm gonna talk to you guys later.
Alright.
Have a good one.
Later, Bo. But no, literally,
and
he'll climb it too.
I think we are back.
We're back up. Yeah, we have ads though, so.
Ugh.
Sorry about the ads. Nothing I can do about that. I don't know what caused that just random ass disconnect.
Simple. It was chaos from another plane of existence.
Oh, Zinch. It was definitely Zinch.
No, Zinch would have kept us going because he likes the chaos.
Mm-hmm. So
Or not.
Sorry about that,
Or-
folks. I know I know it's showing unstable when it comes to network connection. I don't know why, because I'm not doing anything different than what I normally do. So,
Zan, did you spill liquor on the modem again?
So I'll
I
just
don't
have to
spill
play.
liquor ever. What the fuck are you on? The alcohol abuser here is fucking Doku, not me.
Hey, don't try to blame this on me.
Okay, it seems to be back where it is. So sorry about that, folks. It completely fucked over looking at the chat history, but I did see what Hydra wanted. He had to bow out early. No worries on that one, Hydra. If you watch the VOD, and in a bit later on, I will be posting as many of the entries as I can onto Twitter. Because there I'll have a higher character limit. If I post it anywhere else, I'm gonna have problems. So, with that said, number 5. What did you have in mind? You had mixture and Spitlick, which we're not doing because we don't want to jinx things and have the thing suddenly crash again. So you might have to pull an audible.
Oh, all right, fine. You know what? I'll remove that one. I'll remove that one. How about let's go with okay, let's make things fun. How about Ceres Victoria from Helsing?
Ooh.
Oh,
That works. That appeals to everybody here, including our waifu hunter.
Yeah, see, it's not a bad choice.
Police girl.
Hey.
All right,
Bitches love cannons.
all right. Given
Is
I
it the blonde
head
hair,
between
the
your
big
boobs.
titties?
Yeah.
It's a maybe, but I don't deal with maybes.
Yeah, but I think we have to go with Warrior. It's just a given. And as far as the jobs in question, Ceres uses, even though she has a leaning towards heavy weaponry, there's a variety of weapons she uses through both animes and the manga. Whether it be a very heavy rifle, one that kind of reminds me of like a G3 or something. She's used sniper rifles before. She's used essentially a miniaturized version of a tank cannon with the Harkonnen.
Bitches love cannons.
I'm pretty sure the Harkonnen was modeled after an actual firearm because Hirano is a gun nut.
It was, ironically enough, there was somebody who did a video on that.
I just don't remember what model of firearm it was. Eventually you get the Harkonnen 2, which is just a which is just her turning into the kind of turret you would see on a battleship.
Again, bitches love cannons.
And then there's the whole thing with her arm when she becomes a full vampire. And the fact that, as was shown in the epilogue, she can kind of spread that effect throughout the whole mansion.
Oh, she just wants to give you a hug. It's fine.
So
Probably.
First one we're going with is fighter. I would say the second one we're going with is sniper. Because sniper does have precise attacks, and it has AoEs through things like barrage.
I mean, she does have the eye, so yeah, that works.
Plus, there's the whole always aim for the head kind of thing.
Also from very far away in the dark. So yeah, makes sense.
And as far as the third one, I would actually go with a yokai to represent that form. And
Damn it! I feel like that was too easy.
Hey,
Mildra.
Yeah.
Can I give you an honorary mention to see what you do with it out of curiosity?
Hold onto that for a moment.
Roger that.
But actually, instead of a yokai, I think the last one that I would go with is probably Arcanist.
Huh.
No, not Arcanist. Dervish. She does have her rage moments, but it's more like her being a meat grinder than about hitting hard.
Oh yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
That
all right, I get.
With the Harkonnen 2, it's Daka mode.
Yeah, yeah, very much so.
Like I said, she's basically a one-woman AA gun with that thing.
And it's sexy as fuck.
But what was the honorary mention, and I'll consider it?
Conquer from Conquer's Bad Fur Day.
No.
Oh, fuck's sake.
See, I left it out for a reason, because I knew it wasn't a good one, but it's still funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's a worse one. I'm looking at some of my ones I said no to. I'm like, yeah, that's worse than mine.
Hey, look. The Almighty Pooh.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
It's the Great Mighty Pooh.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mean to
I'm going
speak
to throw
down.
my shit at you.
Like, did you hear? He has a recital going on in a couple weeks in New York.
Oh.
I thought he'd open up a studio in Los Angeles.
He did, but he has an off-Broadway performance in a couple weeks.
Jeez. Wait, how about Objob from Goldeneye?
With something like I know why you're mentioning Oddjob, and fuck you. Fuck you and the 6 white horses your drunk ass rode in on.
Okay, if I'm actually being serious though, if I'm gonna pick a character from Goldeneye that I want you to have a legitimate breakdown on, Baron Samedi.
I'd have to rewatch the movie he was in, so I'm gonna have to pass for now. Not saying no.
Oh, dude,
just
voodoo magician, like, bro, that for some reason that character I've always loved. I don't know why. He doesn't scare me, but he's just like, it's one of those things like, I'm not scared of him, but he gives me the creeps. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck are you up to, dude? But he's like, nothing. I'm not up to anything. It's like, no, you're definitely up to something. No, I'm not. It's fuck you, dude. Get rid of that fucking hat.
Yeah. But Balanced Hydra had brought up his request, which was Motoko Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell. He specifically brought up Ghost in the Shell standalone complex. But
my favorite.
Since Kusanagi is fairly consistent in terms of what she can do throughout the different incarnations, there's not a whole lot that I'd need to change. But I would say warrior is what I'm going with, because even though she's special ops, she is a soldier through and through. And in fact, special ops is one of the entries we're going with job-wise. Especially when you consider things like thermoptics, or the fact that she will take on disguises just to get info. And in fact did that whole thing of her posing as the Laughing Man to get info. Or posing as or taking whole identities in the net to get the information that she was looking for. If that's not special ops, I don't know what is. So I would say, because of her position, you know, as not necessarily head of Section 9, but the on-the-ground authority when it comes to operations, I would say noble. Actually, not noble, general. And as far as the third one, I know it would be tempting to go with fighter, but fighter is something that would be more for like Boma. More than it would be for her. On the other hand, mediator I think would be her speed. Yeah, just making sure that Discord didn't cut me off or something.
No, you're good.
Very good.
Yeah, but special ops, general, and mediator is what I'm going with for Kusanagi. Now,
All right.
this is quite a good spread. I may post this on Twitter afterwards, as I mentioned earlier. One of the big reasons why I wanted to do this was to showcase that even though the text is built around Final Fantasy, this is a concept that can be stretched quite a bit if one wants to. Because of the fact that the flavor text is just flavor, it can be reinterpreted as the table wishes. We designed it to do that. But also the fact that eventually people are going to want to integrate characters that aren't from Final Fantasy into this project. And the case in point that I used when I talked about this on a post a few days ago was how the Naruto 5e project has come to incorporate elements of Sonic, Jujutsu Kaisen, One Piece, Bleach, and Dragon Ball Z through its homebrewing community. And we most definitely built this with homebrewing in mind. It's gonna be inevitable, so our approach is to make it easier for people to do so. That is why, when it comes to some of the more pedantic critiques that we've gotten, we've tended to ignore those, like the whole recall pain or recall agony about whether or not that's the right naming for that spell,
Or the right section for that spell.
mm-hmm. or things like should this job be in this particular class association. There was that infamous thing that I've brought up before with the one guy who was like, Geomancers should be mages, not adepts.
Yep.
Ignoring the fact that some other games have done Geomancer as mages, and they've ended up with these sprawling spell lists that you're only going to use a quarter of at any given point, if you're lucky.
Laughs in World of Warcraft where the fucking warlock had to be the tank for fucking stone.
Different game, different rules.
I'm just more of trying to make a point.
Yeah. And as we've mentioned plenty of times, you can't look at the individual jobs in this system in a vacuum. A lot of games will have classes have some sort of multi-purpose factor, because that's the only class that you're going to be picking. It's going to be even if you pick other classes or do multi-classing, one of them's going to win out. because you have to start with a class when you're starting out. You can't start as a multi-class. But because of how we have things set up where multi-classing is kind of baked in, each of the individual jobs has to be more laser focused on what it does. This is why,
which is again, yeah, I was gonna say it's again why we don't have the paladin also having white magic. His whole thing is protecting people.
Yeah. Cover is more key to the paladin identity, and thus the class fantasy, than white magic is.
Yep.
And
in fact, the white, I'm pretty sure that the white magic was there because Cecil, once he turns into a paladin, is a very low level and is about to go face an undead enemy and doesn't have any healers with him.
Yeah.
Don't that fight.
Scarmillion fight's easy as fuck.
But your paladin, whoever's playing the game, there's no guarantee that it's going to be like Cecil. In fact, it's likely that it won't be, just because of how people approach character making. In that same vein, if someone's making a paladin that isn't necessarily the fighter who can do white magic kind of thing, they should have the option to do something else. Like if somebody wants to have their paladin be associated with fire. And we already kind of have that with Clive in 16, but we already tackled how you could do Clive in 16.
And there are multiple ways to do Clive in 16. The three jobs we gave are not the be all end all.
Mm-hmm. In that same vein, this is meant to have elements of Final Fantasy as a template, but not necessarily the end point. I've told people a lot, your campaign doesn't necessarily have to replicate any of the existing games, because eventually it won't. In the same way that this is the reason why, for example, the Indiana Jones game that TSR made back in the day got roasted over an open flame critically, because of the fact that it was so focused on replicating the movies that it forgot that it's a role-playing game.
Sorry, guys, I gotta head on out.
No worries, Rick. But
hey, later, Rick. Cheers, man.
But
Cheers.
I genuinely look forward to seeing what people come up with when it comes to this sort of system as we get closer to launch. And there's going to be a lot of exploration that happens in that. A lot of folk taking what we have and possibly expanding on it. I know one person in my Discord had already made something to akin to the way the Sage job works in 14, which our version of Sage isn't going to work like, obviously. And I'm pretty sure I'll see somebody inevitably try to replicate the Viper, even though I haven't seen anything in the Viper that really necessitates a individual job. But that's my perspective on it. Someone else is going to have a different take. And when it comes to the overall goals, Zan, I'd like to let you have the coda on this sort of thing to illustrate what we've been doing with the Pick 5 challenge tonight.
So the ultimate goal of this particular Pick 5 challenge is a little bit more than just showcasing that the monk can, on the fly, adapt characters to a tabletop system. This has been a showcase on how easily your interpretation of a character can be exported into our game. Like I said before at the very beginning, this isn't a one-for-one, obviously. We don't have that sort of granular detail, and we're not trying to do a universalist game. That would come with its own pitfalls and its own complications.
Mm-hmm.
But it is very easy for us to take characters from popular and obscure different pieces of media, books, manga, comics, cartoons, anime, video games. We've covered the gamut. And we've shown that for something that probably seems fairly easy, any anime character, especially someone like Aisha Clan or anyone else who's from a shonen battle anime, to Bugs Bunny and the Tasmanian Devil, to a novel character such as Richard Rahl, all of them can be adapted given the type of thought and foresight and looking at what particular motifs you want to mix using the job system. So more than just being a Pick 5 challenge, this has been a showcase of how robust the job system can be.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even take the time to say if any of these would be more like their counterpart if we said, hey, we'll do full buy-in with this one and give it a 4th job track, because maybe you could. Maybe there were a few out there that would have been even more like their counterpart in their actual franchise if we had gone with a 4th job track. And they're already fairly good adaptations with just 3 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a proof of concept. A proof of concept that Final Fantasy Legend Edition can be used to adapt some of your favorite characters and to create things outside of even those wild combinations for just, I'm going to put these together because they sound fun, or I'm going to put these together because it fits a very specific character idea I have.
Yeah. And ultimately, it's a showcase of something I've been trying to celebrate within the temple, which is a general love and showcase of this weeb culture that we somehow find ourselves in, no matter what form it takes. And I will note, if I ever get a chance to run this game at cons, you will not, under any circumstance, see me run this at a TTRPG focused convention. I will be running this at anime cons and video game cons. Stuff like Detour or VGM Con where I am, or various anime conventions across the country. If I ever set up an organized play program like the Ego program Everyday Heroes has. And the reason for that is if I go to a tabletop con, I know exactly the response I'm going to get. I'm going to get a bunch of old ass dinosaurs telling me that my project is too anime and turning up their noses at it. In other words, exactly what happened to our buddy Vincent.
Yep. Because
he outright told me that's exactly what happened, and that's why when a bit of deep lore, but when RC Chris had talked to us about showcasing Flux Fantasy, I specifically told him, go to anime cons. Don't go to tabletop cons.
And considering he's been big in the anime scene before, I think that's going to be even more comfortable for Chris.
But I'd also told him, one of your selling points is that somebody could build their particular OC in your system. Run with that. Do shorts where you're just adapting characters from anime into your system. I know we're going to be doing that. We've had that earmarked for the future. Taking various characters and adapting them.
And we just did it now.
Yeah. But I want to do like short videos just going into that concept in the future. Because while everybody's trying to say, oh, you've got to run tabletop this certain way, with the temple, the message I want to send is, here's a blue bucket of Legos. Freestyle it. You've already got the idea in your head. Here's a way to transfer that idea into something tangible. And just go.
Oh, sorry.
Just as a final note, the other big thing is the elevation of said culture. I often use a line from the Young Pope about everyone else you're taught to lower yourself. I try to have people elevate themselves. But sorry to cut you off, Toku.
No, I cut you off first, so no need to apologize, man. I was just gonna say, as someone who is a writer, and I've been working on a story for over the better part of a decade, I've never published anything simply because I do not feel that it's up to par. But if I were to, the one thing that I actually look forward to is not if people enjoy the story. I actually want to see if people actually start writing a fan fiction about it, because at the end of the day, I know what the ending of the story is going to be. I already have that written down. It's in my head. I know the start all the way to the finish. What I'm more curious about is if somebody reads it, how do they interpret it? And then if they write a fan fiction, like what in your mind, where do you see the story going? Like, to me, that's a lot more entertaining. As far as I'm concerned, I have the story already laid out. It's not that, as much as I hate to say it, it's not that entertaining. I know the whole story start to finish. I'm more curious to see how other people see it, how they interpret it, and then what they might do with it. I'm more curious about the fan fiction.
Yeah.
My story is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. So yeah, I'm far more curious to see how other people read it, how they interpret it, if they write a fan fiction, if they do some sort of spin-off, and create their own characters in their own universe. I'm a nerd for world building, hence why I haven't actually published anything, because I'm a world building nerd. I mean, hell, I would even if it came down to the point where I'm not even writing a story, I'm just putting out a map. Okay, here's a map. Go make your own story based upon said map. I'll just write lore. To me, that is far more entertaining.
Yeah. But with that coda in mind, that's where we'll wrap it up for this particular episode. I'm going to be doing one interview on the Demon Gate RPG later tonight. I won't be doing the late night stream for a couple of days because I'm not going to have time tonight, and tomorrow, if I do it, it's going to be in the late afternoon because I'm double booked on Monday. You know, because it's MLK Day. It's not like I'm going to be going anywhere. But there's plenty of
Monday's not only MLK Day.
Yeah, it's also Inauguration Day.
Yeah.
Oh God, don't remember.
It's a time to have more people screaming into the void.
Yeah. But
and we're gonna be hit by a fucking Arctic storm, which is gonna be fantastic.
But obviously on Saturday the Cloister is going to return. I am working on putting a bit of structure into what's going to be coming, though it is still going to be a sandbox. But with that in mind, as always, I have to give a sincere thanks to everyone who took the time out of their schedule to come all the way to my monastery and enjoy the madness that happens here, even with all the technical difficulties. Thank you all for coming back in after that.
Hey, it was a good time, and thank you again for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. I do want to thank Bonecog and Ronwise for coming on as well, and I sincerely hope that they return for future ones. Not all of them will be tabletop focused, but they all will involve some form of geek culture and creativity.
And drinks. Don't forget drinks.
Oh yeah. And of course, a sincere thanks to every one of you who took the time out of your schedule to come onto the show and enjoy the madness. And there will be plenty more where that came from, as there always is here, on the open bar of the internet. But until then, on behalf of the good brothers present and not present, my name is Mildra, I am your gaming monk, and join the watch.